You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in today. BMW led U.S. luxury sales for the first quarter of 2024, according to Edmunds.com. As elections quickly approach, what implications will they have on this high-end luxury market that we see today? Here to share his thoughts on what we're seeing in the marketplace and the economy today is the one and only Mr. Tom Maoli, who's the president and CEO of Celebrity Motorcar out of New Jersey. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule there to join us on the show once again.
Always great to see you, Jim, and thanks for having me on.
Sure. So first and foremost, how's your business going? How was your first quarter?
You know, I have to tell you, January and February were in the doldrums from last year, but I have to tell you, March is off to, April is off to an amazing start. And, I think we're outpacing last year. I think volume is up.
Wow.
Clearly margins are down a little bit, but I think, the volume is overcoming that. The service departments are still the same. They're busting at the seams. And I think, listen, we're long in the tooth in this cycle. This happened, back in 2010 when the Lehman crash happened and everybody was buying their leases out. And we're in the same cycle. Yeah. Everybody bought their leases out. These cars are getting long in the tooth. They're coming into the service departments. They have 125,000 miles, and people need to buy cars. Yeah. Despite what the interest rates are doing, despite what the cost of the vehicles have done, they need to buy cars.
That's right. That's right. What do you do with those cars, Tom, that are still in great shape, but they've got 95,000 miles on them? Is there any place to go for a retailer like you other than the auction with a car like that today?
No, listen, there's always a market for those. There's always, a college kid or somebody that's coming out of college that needs a starter. It's like a starter home. They need a starter car. Yeah. And there's always a market for those. We do send some to auction, but there definitely is a market for those. And, it seems to be that, that the used car pricing is holding very strong.
Yeah, for sure. So I figure you're just the guy to talk to about elections, because I know that you are close to the former President Trump. He's going through a lot of stuff right now, but he's leading in the polls. There's not a poll out there, I don't think, and I probably should have checked this before I made this comment, but he's leading in many, many states, many of the battleground states. It looks like he's picking up a lot of momentum over Joe Biden. What kind of implications would this have if he wins the Oval Office again?
Well, listen, he has to win the way I see it. I mean, yes, he's leading in the polls, but we need him in there. The automotive industry is under siege with this whole Biden, demand to go to EVs by 2033, and consumers not buying into it. The charging stations are not out there. Look at what's going on with Tesla, down 37.5% year to date, and they just laid off 10% of their workforce. Yep. Would you ever believe that Tesla would have a layoff? I mean, you see what's going on in the EV world, and Biden just keeps standing up there smiling and pushing it forward. I think if Trump gets in, his first thing he said he's going to do is get rid of this mandate. It's ridiculous. Right. He's going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to be back to business as usual. EVs will be a part of the market, but they'll evolve. And listen, I think he's going to come back with tariffs strong. I think he's going to do exactly what he did before, and he's going to come back with tariffs strong. We're going to block China from bringing in these cheap electric cars into our country and flooding the market. And I think, listen, if he gets in office, he's the only president in my lifetime that I've ever seen have fights with the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. And they should be having fights. They need to move. Interest rates move the market, and they move the economy, and they move businesses.
Sure. As you know, the Fed, recently came out and said, "Hey, we're still not there yet. It looks like if we lower the interest rate, it's only going to boost that inflation back up again, which we don't want to happen." Would you be a proponent of them dropping rates right now?
I have to tell you, Jim. It's interesting because I was on Fox News over a year ago, and I called for this when they started raising interest rates, and we came out of this inflation. We were in this inflationary environment, and I said, I called it. What they're going to do is they're going to continue to just push inflation higher, because what happens is you increase interest rates, you slow down the demand, and historically, what happens is that when you slow down demand, the pricing comes back down to level because people are chasing to get their volume back. We're past that. COVID changed the world. And when COVID hit and the supply chain got crunched, there is no longer chasing volume. And I'm not saying it will never come back, but that's not the market we're in today. What we're looking at is we're still in a supply chain crunch. Yes, it's opened up, but it's still in a supply chain crunch. And every time they raise interest rates and they lower volumes, whether it be construction, whether it be housing, it doesn't really matter. Prices, what they're doing is they're forcing the vendor to push their prices up because they need to maintain their margins.
Yeah.
Historically, on the opposite effect, I think if they start lowering the interest rates, what you're going to do is you're going to raise the volume and in car sales and housing and construction, and then you're going to have people like car dealers, contractors that are going to be chasing that volume, and as they're chasing that volume, the prices will come back down and it'll stabilize. I think they're looking at this thing entirely wrong. I think they need to lower interest rates. They need to get the volume going, and once volume goes, then people start chasing that, and when they start chasing that volume, they start eroding their profits.
Right. So and it makes sense. So as far as Biden is concerned, as far as you're concerned about Biden, I should say, not good for the industry because of what he's looking at with this EV situation, the demands he's making on these EVs, which of course is driving the manufacturers to produce more EVs. Where do EVs currently stand in with your dealerships? Are you selling any of them? Are they aging? Are the consumers coming in wanting them?
Listen, if we were to call the White House and ask Joe Biden, he would tell you it's up 100%, but that's because we went from 3% to 6%. I mean, that's really what's happening. So, and that's what they're selling on the news. They're saying it's up 100, 200% in volume. It's really not. People aren't buying them. We're selling a few more, but the infrastructure is still not there. Have you seen a Biden infrastructure plan to roll out EVs to roll out chargers to support this entire mandate that he has? There's none. It doesn't exist. It's, as I say, I get up in the morning and I go to work and I have ready, aim, shoot. I have to aim at the target, and if I don't hit the target, I'm out of business. Yeah. These politicians get in office and it's not their money, and it's ready, shoot, aim.
That's right. And many of them have never run a business before, so they don't understand that aspect of it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So EVs, again, is the market growing? Yeah, but it's de minimis, and the manufacturers have spent billions and billions of dollars on this crazy concept. And I think the proof's in the pudding, and I think it's all starting to come out in the wash with what's going on with Tesla.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds to me like we need more people in DC that understand retail automotive, specifically the dealership world. And obviously, we were talking about before we got recording about Bernie Moreno out of Ohio.
Yes.
Won the nomination for the Republican Party there. Looks like he's leading in the polls there. So, but it's safe to say we really do need more Bernies right out there in the auto industry, representing us, I should say, from the industry in DC.
Yeah, listen, you need people in DC. You need more Bernies out in the world that are involved in the automotive industry. But what you really need is you need business people and entrepreneurs in politics that are going to that are mandating and making these laws that understand where the rubber meets the road,
right,
and how it affects businesses, dealerships, manufacturing, employment. And I don't think any of them understand it down in Washington.
Right. Should dealers be concerned if Biden somehow wins this deal?
Well, listen, if Biden wins the deal, I think we've got much more problems, across the globe than the automotive industry. I mean, but obviously we're here talking about automotive. Yeah, I think we should be concerned because he's going to continue this crazy mandate, and I think it's going to flop on its face, but he's going to continue it because I think his campaign is being lined by and being supported by the environmentalists.
What's your take on the balance of the year? I know that you had a first couple of challenging months, but it looks like March and April is good, as you said. What's your take on the balance of the year, or at least for the summer?
I think it's strong. We're seeing strong car sales. People are coming in. Again, payments are out the roof. But I always had this phrase, and when I got in the business, people said to me, "Why'd you get in the car business?" I said, "Because you can't stop transportation."
That's right. Yeah, no question
can't stop
about
it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's going to be a very strong year. I think sales will continue to grow. I think again, we're very long in the tooth in this cycle, and I think we got another 2 or 3 year run. But again, it's November is going to tell a lot, and
Sure.
whatever happens in November is how things are going to sway. But I have to tell you, as I sit here today, I think Trump's the winner. I think he's getting in, despite what's going on in Manhattan and all these crazy trials that they have him on. I mean, look what they did to him yesterday. They won't even let him leave the courtroom to go to his son's graduation.
It's crazy.
When they let murderers out of jail to go to their parents' funeral.
That's right.
Right? It's crazy.
And he's a former president of the United States.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. These are crazy, crazy times. There's no
Yes.
question about it. Very, very
Absolutely.
Unprecedented times. Hey, one of the times that I had you on recently was with your lovely daughter who took over
Yes.
your Ford store. How's that going?
She's doing great. She's moving the needle and getting the numbers up, and manufacturers love her, and she's getting more involved in the other brands. And not to talk too deep, but we're out looking at an acquisition right now.
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay,
Yes.
great. Growing the company. Of course,
Absolutely.
on the acquisition side, all of the specialists and brokers that I talk to are saying, the prices that dealers are paying is not, they're not getting for those dealerships what they were getting 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, for obvious reasons. The normalization of the industry is coming back around. But for people that are looking to grow their group, it's a great time to do it, right?
Yeah, it's a great time. And listen, if you look at one of the reasons why, they're not getting the prices that they expected, and prices have come down a little bit, is because of leverage.
Sure.
When you're paying 7.5% on an interest rate, you have to pay less because you have to carry that interest rate. When you look back 4 years ago, interest rates were 3%. As interest rates come back down, those prices will come back up. It's still a strong industry, and like I say, you can't stop transportation. And if they're not buying cars, they're fixing them.
That's right. That's right. Tom Maoli, the hardest working man in retail automotive, the president and CEO of Celebrity Motor Cars in New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We very much appreciate it. And thank all of you for watching. Keep in mind that now all of our CBT shows are you can access on Roku and Apple TV right in your own home. So Tom, thank you so much once again. Really appreciate it.
Great to see you.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.